The Sportage. Really, it's everything we've come to expect from Kia in recent years as the company's continued to lift its game. Contemporary exterior design, respectable interior presentation, refined road manners, and of course it's backed by a supremely long factory warranty and loaded to the hilt with standard equipment. But, and this is the big but, can a Korean car stir your emotions beyond the simple joy of a good car for good value? Can a Korean car genuinely excite a keen driver? Well, here's a car that just might. It's called the Stinger. If you haven't yet heard of this car, you soon will. The Stinger is one of the most anticipated cars of 2017, with all the hype of a Floyd Mayweather title fight. Kia's certainly not being coy about it. Besides the dynamic name, Kia openly calls the Stinger a sports sedan and its performance star. They say this car is about the journey, not the destination. And especially with the range-topping 60,000 GT version you see here, it's a car Kia hopes will make you think twice about buying Euro premium cars, such as the Audi A5 Sportback or BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe. However, fortuitous timing also means this large rear-drive four-door could just be the perfect replacement for the soon-to-be-dead Aussie Commodore. I am so intrigued by the Stinger. It's a hugely ambitious car from a brand more renowned for budget-focused SUVs, hatchbacks and people movers, and I certainly can't wait to drive it. So I'm not particularly happy that my cameraman got to drive it here before me. Thank you, Glenn. That's a pretty cool key design. The car makes an even stronger impression on the design front, especially in this flagship GT guise. The Stinger is absolutely brimming with visual appeal. You've got Kia's signature tiger nose grille up front, but it's attached to an uncharacteristically aggressive front end. You've got bonnet vents. Okay, they're actually fake, so don't worry about those. Big 19-inch wheels with stylish wide-spoked alloys. The car sits nice and low on the road, and you've got that sexy coupe-like sloping rear roofline. And that goes into the muscular rear haunches, emphasising the car's rear-wheel drive nature. And at the back, you've got quad exhaust pipes. But it's probably at this point that we need to address the elephant in the room, those prominent Kia badges. And for some people, as right or wrong as it is, they're just going to struggle to get past it, however good this car looks. Now, I can guarantee I'm going to test this car with absolute impartiality. But to ensure you're experiencing the car exactly the same way, we're going to cover the badges up. And you know what? I think without a badge, I'd struggle to guess that this was a Kia interior. There's a real Euro premium feel to this rather than mainstream Korean. And there are certainly cues that come from brands such as Mercedes, Audi and Porsche. You've got these turbine air vents here and the desktop display. That could be out of a C-Class. You've got brushed aluminium trim here and a gear lever. That could be out of any Audi. And these little toggle switches for the seating, ventilation and heating, well, they look like they're straight out of a Porsche. Now, of course, the tactility and quality, once on closer inspection, not quite there, though it's not completely superficial because the damping on this little storage lid, for example, is beautifully smooth. There's a real stylishly sporty vibe to this cabin, and that's further emphasised by a low-set driving position. It's really fantastic. You're definitely not in a Sportage, and you've got plenty of electric adjustment for the steering wheel, for the seats, and you even get adjustable electric bolstering. And here I'm going to make them super squeezy. Ooh, because we're about to answer the questions about performance and handling. Sorry, no V8, but the Stinger's twin turbocharged V6 certainly performs like one. Kia quotes 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. Now, that was HSV territory not so long ago, as well as an old V8-powered BMW M3. But forget about standing start stuff, because what you want to know is that in the real world, put your foot down, and the Stinger pins you back in your seat with satisfyingly strong torque. Yes, there is a bit of turbo lag when you're in the default comfort mode, but we can switch from comfort to sport with this little dial down here. And yeah, That's better. That's sharper throttle response. That's what we want. Now, it doesn't change the fact that the 3.3 litre isn't the most vocally pleasing six-cylinder you'll ever encounter. It's a little bit bland, but let's rev it out. It does sound kind of angry, and I don't mind it too much. My biggest gripe about the drivetrain, however, is not the sound, but the 8-speed auto. Now, I don't mind shifts being slower than what you'd expect from a dual clutch auto. But what I do mind is when you have a sport mode and pedals, is when the car decides to change gear all by itself. I didn't touch a pedal there and it went up from second to third. And it's not just up shifts, it's also down shifts. In third, hard on the brakes, and yeah, like where's second? You know, it's got 6,500 revs to play with. You know, it shouldn't be an issue. It's a shame, as not only can it spoil your rhythm on a good road, but dynamically, the Stinger is so much closer to the similarly sized BMW 5 Series than the Genesis sedan from parent company Hyundai. It's clear the European engineering gurus, hired by Hyundai and Kia from the likes of BMW's M Division and Porsche, are already starting to hit their KPIs. Okay, so the steering's not perfect, it's a little bit vague around the straight ahead, and it should be heavier, especially in sport mode. But the more you wind on the lock, which you do in these twisty corners, the smoother and more agreeable it becomes. Much more accurate. And unlike so many other Korean steering setups we've experienced over the years, there's no unpleasant kickback through corners. And that allows you to fully savour the beautiful rear drive balance of the Stinger. Tip it into the corner, sits on its outer rear wheel, lovely. You do want to have sport mode switched on for the suspension to have the dampers at their fastest setting, giving you the most disciplined body control. The only trade-off there is that on a typically bumpy country road is that things can become a little bit harsh. So once you're out of the windy bits, you might just want to dial it back again. In fact, if I'm just cruising along on the country road, I actually have a personalised setting. There we go, called custom. Now in here I have sport for the steering, sport for the drivetrain, but comfort for the suspension, which just allows for a little bit of extra compliance. But the suspension, even when it's in comfort, it's still lacking a little bit of sophistication over bigger bumps. But you know what? I don't even like to think of the Stinger so much as a sports sedan, but more as one of the world's most affordable Gran Turismos. Either way, to be a true driver's car, this Kia has to connect with you. Not just physically, through the steering, chassis and pedals, but emotionally. It should create an addictive urge to drive it again, even if you've got no destination in mind. So, the big question here is, have I truly bonded with the Kia Stinger GT? It has revealed a few little flaws here and there, or big ones in the case of that disobedient auto, but I am feeling some chemistry. First impressions suggest the Stinger GT isn't about to set a new dynamic benchmark, but it is a genuinely engaging car to drive. And it may yet prove to be the victim of badge snobbery, but every brand deserves to have a transformational vehicle. And the Stinger deserves to be Kia's.